Hi, this is Dee and
Now,
my
yeah,
hubby.
we're gonna have a quick talk.
Yeah,
A, a
Divine
little,
Needle, by the way.
yeah.
Um, I watched a remote viewing. We both did yesterday evening. Talking, and it was talking about something that I've spoke about many times over the years on my other channel, Divine L, and it's about negative attachments, aka the religious terminology is possession. It's real, it's a thing, and there's a lot of people running around with these negative attachments, aka possession, including spiritual leaders and our politicians. The thing is, with today's society and religion in general, they don't teach you about these things. I've known about them since I was a child. I could see them attached to people, and I could see in their eyes if they had an attachment, especially a really nasty one. That really shows up because they get a look in their eyes that, yeah, it's like my radar goes up, starts pinging hard, and my uh, senses like go on extreme heightened alert when I'm around somebody with a negative attachment.
Yep.
And interesting because the attachment, a serious one, a serious possession of an entity that's got has gained a great deal of strength by tapping into the fear and the lower vibe energy frequencies from the person they've attached to. If they're really strong, man, um, you can feel it the minute you get anywhere near them. Anyway,
But I love that stuff, right? Because yesterday, remember what I told you? Credo Mutwa?
mhm,
He was like, yeah, if you see, um, well, he calls them the Chitauri, which is an alien species. If
mhm.
you see them and you're with your girl, you have to make love right at that spot, and they will leave you alone. So,
Yeah, they don't like
no,
positive energy at all.
no,
They feed off negative lower vibe energy.
yeah.
So, in other words, if you've recently lost someone or a pet, if you've become ill somehow, and man, do they love that. Um, or if you have addictions, uh,
Yeah, I had an experience like that.
yeah, or if you mentally are just in a negative vibe, they will attach to you. They're just waiting. They hang around, waiting for the opportunity to strike.
Uh-huh. I had this happen years and years and years ago. I was a party drinker, right? And I went to a party and I got really messed up, like a lot of alcohol. And somehow I blanked out. I don't know what happened really, but I came home and I was still living with my parents, and they were awake in the morning, and they said to me, like, the look in your eyes was scaring us. You were super violent. You were not yourself at all. And um, yeah, that was like a very strange indication to me. Like, what? Because, especially because I didn't know anything about it, that was unusual by itself. So, and that led me to believe that that might have been an attachment that struck at the right moments. Me blanking out with
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah. So, um, and I talked about this on the channel, and my husband reminded me that I need to repeat and rinse, repeat
Yeah.
over and over again and remind you all because even I forget. It's like we were watching that remote viewing, and the remote viewer was describing this person with attachments, other people with attachments. And I was like, I need to talk about that again, because people don't realize it's even happening to them. They don't realize that the energy, because sometimes these attachments can just make you feel more negative energy. Like here's a scenario. You wake up one morning and you're feeling super negative, and you know it's not you. You're not normally like that. And you just can't seem to shake the feeling. Well, that's because there's an attachment, and it's trying to influence you to have those negative emotions to help feed it. It's like I said, stop feeding the virus, because they're part of the virus system.
Now, can I intercept with that?
Mhm.
When you eat bad food, trash food, right?
Yeah.
Could it be that, well, I know it has an effect on me mentally.
Mhm.
Could it be that when you feel that way, an attachment can slip in and make you feel even worse?
I think so. I think that's possible. Yeah. Even if they will try to influence you to eat. Well, it's like anything. They will take advantage at any given opportunity, including persuading you to eat something you know damn well isn't good for you. Okay? And they hang around if you don't know how to cleanse your space and create a bubble, because not only are there negative ones, but there are positive ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's what we've been dealing with.
So the positive ones, how do you get rid of these things that attach to you, that take advantage of your weak moments, your weak spots, things, addictions and stuff like that, or moments of weakness, whether you've been ill or what have you. And they would love for you to commit suicide, because they can pull your entire soul energy out and turn you into a dead battery, so to speak. So they would definitely march you towards the suicide line if they had a chance, trust. So, because you've lost hope, okay? So the way to keep them away from you in general is, I talked about making your bubble. Imagine your favorite color, a ball. Your favorite color. And all you have to do is just think about it and imagine this ball. And then imagine yourself, make the ball big enough that you can step inside the ball or sit inside of it. And then using your fingers, and physically use your hands and your fingers, line the inside of your ball with energy. Just use your imagination. And physically feel the energy pumping out of your fingers, and line the inside of your ball with energy. It's a protective barrier. Then you can talk to the positive ones and you can talk to the negative ones. Then start making that ball bigger and bigger and bigger. However big you feel comfortable with. Do you want it around the perimeter of your home? Make sure that ball goes into the ground and you are the center point. So consider yourself the center point, and you can make that ball as big as you want. Keep in mind, it requires your energy to make that ball. So you have to, at first you want to do this on a daily basis. Right before you go to bed, make your ball, blow it up. And then once you have that ball established and the size, when you go to bed, all you're doing is realigning and reaffirming the energy and the ball. And the thing that I do because there are positive ones as well as these negative ones. What I do is I speak to the positive ones and I tell them, because they don't want the negative ones around them any more than you or I do. So what I do is I speak to them in my head. You can say it out loud even, if you like, and make a deal with them that you're creating this ball. They can be inside the ball as long as they want to be in that ball, because free will, right? And they protect the perimeter of that ball, and if any of the negative ones try to come inside that ball, they're immediately escorted back out in a very unceremonious way. And I kind of got ahead of myself, because first is how you get rid of them in the first place. First of all, the awareness that they are there is your first step.
When you recognize your thoughts, can it not be in yours?
Oh, look, it's 11:11 right now. I just happened to glance over 11:11. I'm getting that a lot lately. I was working on a cold case and I got 11:11 and 88. Working on a cold murder case, three women that disappeared, and I think I know where the police need to look. Anyway, beside the point.
Yeah, if you, I recognize this, and these are positive thoughts though, for the better. But I get instances like, look at this, send this to that person, and like even with the channel, like the idea of putting up thumbnails was not my idea. This was something, I don't know, my higher self, Gabriel.
The positive one.
Positive attachment made me do it. Like, hey, you need to put up thumbnails so people can actually see what they're supposed to click on instead of my face. So there is positive ones, but I can recognize it. I recognize it when it's not me. It's like in my voice in my head, but it's almost like this. How do you say that? I don't even know. It's different. It's just different. It's my voice, but it's like out of nowhere kind of stuff. Yeah. It's like there's nothing leading up to the thought. It's like all of a sudden, like, bam, here it is. Like, I'm like, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just like the negative ones operate off of negative energy and feed off of you, the positive ones operate on high energy. When you're feeling good, your mental attitude is good, your clarity is good, you're not brain foggy. Your diet has everything to do with that, by the way. If you've got brain fog, clean up your diet. That's where you got to, yeah.
Start.
But the biggest thing with overcoming illnesses and things like that is the first step is realizing that these entities, ETs, demons, whatever terminology you want to throw at it, doesn't matter, they exist. Realizing they exist is the first step. And the religions out there and stuff don't teach you, not correctly, what these are and how to deal with them. Anyway, if you have negative attachments and you realize they're there and you have that first step done, you've got the awareness that you've got a problem. All you have to do, and you can do this before you create your bubble or even after, because the good ones that are in your area, in your vicinity, dimensionally, will be more than happy to assist you in removing them from the area. So you can do this after the bubble that you make or before, doesn't matter. What matters is that you continue to do it, because what happens is you can become lax in doing that, and I've done that. And I woke up in a weird mood and I'm like, what is wrong with me? And then I'm like, oh, I know exactly, because I hadn't been maintaining my bubble. Now, when you get really good at it, you only have to maintain that bubble and do your little ritual where you're lining it with energy and talking to the good ones that are hanging about. You only have to do that every so often. Like, I had it to where I could do it like every 6 months because my bubble was really big and the communication was really good between me and the positive energies. So anyway, when you're trying to get rid of these and you recognize that you have them, a good way, what I do is I mentally, in my head, I'm like, you're out, you're leaving, and I get pissed because they've attached to me in the first place. You should get really, because they have infringed upon your free will, and they're tapping on your energy. That's like if you have a day where your energy is really low, they'll get a hold of you if they can, and they can make it lower. But what I do is in my head, um, it's almost like I raise my blood pressure. They don't like higher frequencies, so even higher blood pressure will make them very uncomfortable. Anyway, so I'll just sit there and I'll focus all my attention on pushing them out of my energy field. Because you know they're there. Just imagine. It's like, okay, there's that one right there hanging next to me. I'm going to push it out. And you can even do it under threat. Tell them that you will spiritually shred them if they don't remove themselves, basically.
Didn't you have like a visual of them? You know, like once you woke up and it was like this tentacle ball thing?
Oh, no, that's a whole nother type of entity, and those will make you have really intense bad dreams and feed off. So they are kind of like that.
Yeah. Because looking at the picture,
They're they're not exactly identical, but they all operate off of negative energy. There's this thing that looks like a swoosh ball, a toy with a whole bunch of little strands coming off like tentacles. Um, and I've seen them with my own eyes. And I've seen them more than one occasion. Just as I'm waking up, coming to consciousness, I've seen them detach and go away from me. And when that was going on, I was having really intense bad dreams while they were attached to me. And they were feeding off my energy. So they'll even attach to you while you're sleeping and mess with you just so they can feed off that fear energy. Because if you're having intense, repeated bad dreams, that is generally a sign that you've got one feeding on you while you sleep. And that's why you need to make the bubble, because they can't even come near you while you sleep if you have that bubble in place. And the good ones that are marching around, keeping the area clean of them, basically, while you sleep. So anyway, I thought it was really important, but that the technique for ridding yourself of them is really recognizing it, honing in on that energy, and then forcing them out mentally. It's like it causes energy has waves to it, and you can create a psychic wave coming out of your body that pushes them away. And it can make them extremely uncomfortable. If you're really good at it, you can literally hurt them or shred them if you want.
I like to describe my bubble because it may help them. Years ago, I did a meditation on finding your spirit animal, right? You can find this on YouTube. It's just a guided meditation. Now, for me, it was a black bear, right? Like all of a sudden it appeared. So how my bubble goes, I'm like where I am most at home, which is in the forest. But for some reason, in my spot, there's like a river beside me,
There's a river in mine too.
and like in the forest, and there's like a plug-in, like how do you call that? To plug in devices, electrical outlet.
Yeah.
And there's like a radio standing there too on a little chair, and the black bear sits next to the radio, and that is my spot next to the river. And when I do my bubble, that's like my eternal spot. I think I don't know. I can go there instantly when I want to.
It's your happy place.
It's my happy place. So
and your spirit animal happens to be there.
yeah, and so I am there, but I'll always repeat the ball, right? So I get there instantly, and it's always a little bit different as well because I noticed one time, like across the river, I saw a gray ET looking at me. So the negatives are around. I don't know if that was a negative one, but it definitely felt like it. How I do it, it's like if you know Dragon Ball Z, they like create this little balls between your hands.
Pokemon balls.
Well, energy balls.
Yeah.
And I just whoop, enlarge it, and I'll let it drop. Go in the air. I'll let it drop over me, and it's got like this built-in chair, and I'll lay in the chair while I'm laying in bed in real life. And my bubble is like red and with electric on the inside. So I line it with electric energy. And that is my bubble. Yeah. So if you listened, and you can probably, your imagination, your consciousness works in symbols, right? In pictures. So there you go. Create your own bubble like that, whatever it may be. So, and that spirit animal, that's like a protection as well, because that black bear is like, he's got my back.
Yeah.
It's real strange, but
yeah, my spirit animals are a doe and a dragonfly. I had two of them, and they're next to a river, just like he's describing. Well, it wasn't a river, it's a creek, but a nice flowing creek.
No, mine's like full blown.
Yeah, mine's probably, the creek was probably 4 or 5 feet wide. Not a big one. It's just a creek, and the doe and the dragonfly was hovering around the doe.
Mine is like a highway size. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big river.
You got a big one.
Yep.
Big river. But anyway, so it's very common when you go to do a meditation and find out what your spirit animal is for you to see water, evidently.
Yeah, go find it. Like,
yeah, it could be next to a lake, a pond. Water is a recorder of energy. It is sentient. It has, and it records. That's why a lot of hauntings are near water and stuff, or they're more noticed, is because water retains energy and recorded energy, almost like a Akashic record type thing, of events that happen near that water. So water's a very huge tool with the psychic realm, like huge.
Oh yeah.
That's why taking a Epsom salt bath, baking soda baths to detox and things like that are really key, because it not only detoxes your body scientifically, physically, but it also helps cleanse your body of spiritual stuff too. So it works in tandem.
The positive attachments in me already told me the title of this video.
Yeah, what is it?
Interview with the Goddess. Double point attachments.
Attachments, yeah.
I don't know
Negative attachments, yeah, and positive attachments, because they exist. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me that topic that I talked about over on Divine Elm needed to be addressed over here too.
Yeah, because People
And repeat, rinse and repeat a few times.
people don't have
Remind
time,
you.
or they don't think it's important enough, or they just saying to them, go look back into the videos.
Hmm.
A huge chunk of those people are not gonna do it.
So any of you that feel like you're battling addictions of any kind, illnesses of any kind, you've gone through a loss of any kind, anything that's brought your energy down, trust, they sit there and they just wait. And the minute they see a weakness, a vulnerability, they will attach.
And they got time.
Yeah.
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 They probably don't
They
experience
don't.
time.
Yeah, they don't experience time. They just. I call them the negative ones because they're like a parasite. They're like pulling a tick off your skin, but you're pulling a tick off your spiritual etheric body, your soul, so to speak. So it's removing the ticks. Anyway, the ticks do what they do because that's what they're designed to do. That's what they feed on, and so you and some of them are stronger than others depending on how they've been fed. Get my drift? So yeah. Say for instance, you're battling a health addiction and a drug addiction at the same time or something like that, and one developed based on the other one. Say your health went in decline, then you started taking pharmaceuticals such as painkillers, etc., that altered your mental state, and you were already in a deteriorated mental state. These things will attach to you, and it is the first step of overcoming mental issues of any kind, that depression, anxiety, um, fear-based thinking, phobias, things like that. Like say you have arachnophobia. It could be because of past life stuff that's happened to you. Just depends, because some people have irrational fears, right? And they don't understand why. It's probably because something happened to them in their past. But or even traumatic dreams caused by the negative ones, by the little swoosh ball dudes. And yeah, that's the best way to describe them. It's like a swoosh ball thing with, it's like a tentacly thing. It's probably I'd say they're about the size of a saucer, around, like a teacup saucer. Yeah. Um, you know, across about 5 to 6 inches. They can be bigger a little bit, but yeah, when you're overcoming those, knowing that first step of getting rid of that negative attachment is a huge part of your battle, because people don't realize when they're battling addictions and mental issues or physical issues. If you don't get rid of those attachments, you're not going to achieve your battle. That's why so many people fail at quitting addictive behaviors, etc. Because the first step is getting rid of the negative attachments that have developed because of that. And once you get rid of them, you'll feel way lighter. Your mood will be way higher. And you can accomplish anything when you're elevated.
Yeah, because it all starts in the minds, right? For example, if you look at the world, every object except from nature, but every other object was a idea first, and these entities know, like, that's where it begins in the mind, so they attack the mind, and if the mind is all screwed up, there's not gonna be anything else created, or there's gonna be something created that they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to address this issue.
Yeah, and negative attachments. It's interesting because if you come contact with somebody that's got negative attachments, somebody that's got addictions, blah, 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 or mental issues, blah, 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 those negative attachments can jump off onto you. That's why a lot of people say only hang out with high vibing people, because if you don't, you're going to have to protect yourself in a spiritual way.
Mhm.
And there's no way around not coming into contact with people that have these attachments, especially if you're doing any sort of humanitarian, spiritual, twin flame work. You're gonna come up against people with that energy, and you gotta be good at recognizing and clearing it and pushing it out away from you. And maintaining that bubble is, some people don't want to hassle with having to, so they'll totally stay away from people and only hang out with high vibing people. You know, you hear the, I only hang out with high vibing people, blah, 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 blah. Well, good for you. But if you go to the store or do anything out in public, you're going to come in contact with them. And if you are on a spiritual mission, you're definitely going to come in contact with them. So knowing that you're going to be in contact with that and what to do about it is like critical,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, it's not like avoiding the negative, right? Because that's gonna ensure that's gonna continue. Yeah. So,
Here's the thing. People burn sage, Palo Santo stuff to clear the energy. It's not actually the sage, the Palo Santo. You could burn a stick from the backyard. It don't matter. What matters is your intent when you're doing that process. I'm clearing the energy, my space, with this smoke. And that is what sends them out. It's your thought,
yeah, it's
not the
positive.
actual freaking Palo Santo sage. Like I said, you could burn a hair, you could burn a blade of grass. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the intent.
A few years ago,
So you don't have to use those to clear. You can clear all on your own.
I was studying magic, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't actually achieve it or anything like that. But in the book, it also said like, yeah, you can create all these tools, all these sigils, and all those things. But those are just um, um, to make whatever you're doing to make it to make it to make yourself believe it. If that makes any sense. When you believe when you see those things, all that ritual work, I'm
Mhm.
not talking negative, it's positive. But when you do that, that's kind of like, yeah, you make yourself believe that it works, and
Yeah,
that makes it work.
faith and belief, not blind faith or blind belief. That's what got us into all this trouble.
But believing
But
has a big impact. Like for example, I read the book Biology of Belief, and it was scientifically proven when it comes to self healing
yeah,
that it works. That it has a huge impact on your body and mental state.
yeah.
So believing has a big power. Now, I'm not saying it works externally, but definitely on a personal level, it does have a big impact. Yeah.
Hmm. And remember, the dimensions are stacked right here on us, and these things are interdimensional ETs, beings, demons, whatever you want to call them. They are interdimensional. I went a long ways on Divine L to show you guys how the dimensions are stacked like Russian dolls are. They're right here on top of you. The only reason you don't see them is light frequency. Everything's made of energy. Some of us can see these things. Most cannot. Um, Fortunately, I can actually see them, especially in certain states. Um, so that's helpful. But just the, if you feel like there's anything negative going on and you're trying to recover um, from battle your way back. That is your first step, is the awareness that they're there and getting rid of them. That's your first battle, because when you're recovering, it's not just recovering your health and eating the right things and blah, blah, blah. It is, you're in a battle for your soul and your mental health and your physical health. So it's like a threefold battle. And if you don't realize that first step, that first battle, the spiritual one, you're going to fail at the other battle.
Yep.
100%. That's why so many fail. It's like you can go to AA or anything like that, but if you don't learn that first step, then that's why so many fail. Even using support groups, AA, etc., which are fine and dandy. Those are awesome.
Because they force you to do shadow work. AA?
Yeah, shadow work. Yeah, definitely. But if the thing that they're missing is that first step, the spiritual step. Also, many of us struggle with what is my life path. A lot of people, I struggled with that for a long time, because I'm not being boastful, but I'm really good at a lot of different things. It's just an Aquarian thing. And it's very hard for us, when you're really good at a lot of different things, to pick one. It's kind of a 7 of Cups thing. But knowing this about these negative ones can affect your decision making when you're making choices like that. So knowing about them is a huge step to finding your purpose too.
Yeah, it's when you are just doing your thing at work or whatever, and there's these thoughts entering your head, and you kind of go like, where did that come from? Positive or negative. That is most likely one of them. Because I got somebody talking to me. It's a positive one. I don't know who it is. I tend to think it's my wife's Gabriel.
One of my team members.
My higher self.
I've got 2 team members.
Because I do remember, like, I used to drink a lot, right? Like I told you a little while ago. And at the end of it, the last time I drank, it was like a voice told me, it was in my tune, it was my voice in my head. So like, if you keep this up, you will die. You will die. And that was
that was a positive one that came in and tried to help you.
And I was like, oh wow, what was that? So that was the last time I ever drank, and that was like almost 9 years ago now. So and it was not like the alcohol that was killing me, it was my behavior with taking in the alcohol, like taking bad routes home and falling on the street and things of that nature. So but yeah, that was a voice telling me, like, if you keep this up, you will die, right? And that was my real first experience of this phenomenon, really. Yeah, that I recognized anyway. So if you got any thoughts that you feel are not yours, if you really be aware of your thoughts, you may recognize this. Yeah. And you may find out that you have an attachment. I feel most people do, negative or positive.
Yeah, it's just some of them have some really nasty ones. There's some, like I said, that are more powerful than others. And the thing that I've tried to teach people is you were given divinity, a spark from the Creator. And because of that, you were given also dominion. That means you are rulers in your own right. You can call yourself gods. I call you angels. but you have divinity. And in that, you hold dominion. And that means you're the effing boss. So boss up.
Mm-hmm.
You direct them, not the other way around. Okay? That when you have that firmly planted in your head that you're the boss, not these energies that are around you, these negative ones or the positive ones, doesn't matter. You're the boss. When you fully take that in, that you hold dominion over them, your power increases 1,000-fold. Not kidding.
It's also realizing that you are a creation of this universe. I don't know what God is.
And so are they.
Yeah, so are
The
they.
negative ones and the positive ones, they are too.
But you're too. So,
but you hold dominion. That's the difference.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what God is. I really do not know. But I know there's some form of creative force, right? But you are of that creation. Every cell in your body, your thoughts, everything. So, and understanding just that should empower you. Right?
Yeah.
Really
this
should.
picture that I pulled up to use for this little chat we decided to have this morning is a good representation of what these negative attachments do. They puppet you. Our spiritual leaders, including the Pope, has somebody puppeting him, some real big nasty. Remote viewers have seen it. I know it's there. All I had to do, and their actions, the things that they do, speak volumes as to whether they have attachments or not. And this image is kind of a representation of how they puppet you and get you to do what they're bidding, basically. And I know that every politician, or almost, well, I'd say 98 to 99% of them have these attachments and are not, they're service to self, and they're self-destructive, and they have self-destructive behaviors, addictions, etc., including sexual stuff. Yeah, the freaks. Yeah, and they picked the wrong path, the service to self path. I remember what I told everybody, the path that you're supposed to pick is right down the damn middle, not self-sacrifice path, not service to the service to others, and not the service to self path. You just shoot right down the dang middle and keep a balance. You service others and yourself in an equal reciprocity kind of way. Because not only will you treat others with equal reciprocity, but that keeps you spiritually balanced going down that center path.
Yeah, because if you only do service to others, you'll be depleted and
you're going to let the energy vampires suck you dry,
and
they'll throw you away like a dead battery.
And then you die, and that's it. And
yeah.
So you got to keep that balance.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance. But this picture is a good representation. People can have hundreds of these things attached to them.
Or just one.
Or just one. Doesn't matter. There's also the positive ones attached to people, and remote viewers will see them too. But they'll recognize, they'll feel the energy, and they'll recognize it's a positive attachment. The positive ones generally will speak back to remote viewers, and they don't mind the remote viewers hanging around as long as they sense that you have the remote view as a remote viewer, no ill intent towards who you're remote viewing, and that you're not there to cause trouble. So the positive ones act like guard dogs, basically, and you want to draw them into your bubble, and you protect them as much as they're protecting you. And that is by maintaining that bubble, okay? So part of your contract with the positive energies is maintaining that bubble. And if you get lax, they'll get lax in maintaining the space free of negative energy. So
Still recording?
yeah, of course I am.
Okay.
Anyway, but that's kind of, did you have anything else to add?
No, not really.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
And it's just practice. People
Knowing-
think, I can't sit there and meditate or do that. Just use your imagination. Just sit there and imagine.
You can do
People do that
powerful
every day.
breath meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you breathe deep enough, you may see some of those attachments.
Yeah, actually be able to see them with your own
I
eyes.
actually
or in,
made drawings of it. All I see is ETs and geometry and all kinds
yeah,
of
a lot of
stuff.
people when they first start meditating, those negative ones will pop up in your vision field when
In
you have
your
your
head.
eyes shut, and they pop up in your head and they try to block you because they don't want you to go deeper and realize who you are, basically.
Yeah, I had big time.
They don't want you knowing you hold dominion. Hell no, because then they can't have their way. They can't feed off all the negative stuff going on. Like all the negative things going on in the world right now is because of these negative attachments puppeting people.
Yep.
Including the remote viewers, remote viewed Putin, and the attachments that are happening to him and those around him, and how they're being affected. And I would really love to see the remote viewers, because I know what I see, and I see attachments. You know, they should remote view all the leaders, including our current. Yeah. And even past ones. I'd like them to see them do Trump too, because I know what he's got. But anyway, they're all being affected by this. So, so nobody's immune. No, when you walk through the forest, everybody is capable of getting a tick jump on them. Now, whether that tick likes you or not, say for instance, somebody that intakes a lot of garlic, some people just have a natural thing that comes out of their system that repels ticks or mosquitoes. I happen to have that. Although that's kind of fluctuated over the years. There's been times when it didn't seem to be working for some reason, but most of the time, ticks and stuff like that won't get on me. And it's the same thing with these negative energy ticks. Just think of them as a tick. That's the best way to describe it. They're a parasite feeding off of you.
You gotta look at them. They go inside your head, because yesterday in that remote viewing, they really explain how they do it. It's like how they count, like this counting
I can
rack.
actually hear them too.
Counting rack, like in preschool with the balls on the rod, and they arrange the thoughts with their little, it's not even fingers, it's like
Tentacles.
tentacles.
It is tentacles. I've seen it visually.
And they bring the negative stuff in the forefront of your thought process, and the good stuff they put it to the background. They totally rearrange your thought processes. So look at it that way. They like this rack. How do you count? A counting rack, like in preschool with the little balls.
Oh, abacus, or is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Abacus, I believe, is what it's called. And it was used in the old days for counting.
Yeah. So they use, well, that's a good visual representation of that. So they totally get into your neurons and rearrange all of that. I recognize it. I totally do.
And if you're somebody like me that has abilities, like I have hypercussive hearing, hyper smell, taste, and a very strange thing going on with my vision, but where I see things others can't see, and it's not mental instability. Oh, I see pink elephants. No, uh, it's just an ability I have. I can actually, when the positive or the negative ones are around me, I can actually hear them on a frequency level. Like, I've got Gabriel and Adonai that hang around. They're extremely positive, never anything negative from them, except for Gabriel. He has a temper, and if he sees a wrongdoing or something of that nature, he gets quite indignant. And he wants to have a go at anything negative, like with a vengeance. Not kidding. He really doesn't like them. But I can hear them on a frequency. Like, Gabriel has a very intense, high-pitched sound that he makes, and Adonai, he's a higher pitch too, but a little lower frequency sound. He's not low vibe, low frequency, bad guy. It's just you can hear them. Some of you with those abilities, with that hypercussive hearing, will definitely understand what I'm talking about. It's like I can hear some freaky stuff most people don't hear, like electricity going through the walls. Yeah.
Me the other day, I had like in my right ear a pitch, and in my other ear a different kind of pitch. That was something strange.
Well, that's what I hear all the time because of Gabriel and Adonai.
Usually
and they'll come and go. They don't always stay right next to me, and sometimes they'll get right on top of me, and I mean they're on me, literally. And then other times I can barely hear them, and they're way far away doing something else. Don't know what, but those of you with abilities or that have had positive ones that hang around you and have been there since you were a child totally get what I'm saying. Other of you guys will be scratching your head going, is that even possible? Everything's energy, everything's sound and light. It's frequency waves.
Vibration.
Yeah, vibration. And these things, the negative ones, the swoosh balls, as I call them, the negative swoosh balls that give you the bad dreams, they literally, when I saw them, they were detaching from me, and they were right in the center of my forehead, right where your third eye is. Like they were wrapped around the nose and between the eyes area. Not joking. And then they move away. When I wake up, they immediately move off. Immediately. As I'm gaining consciousness, and I literally, visually, with my eyes, not with my brain or my imagination, with my eyes, saw them moving away.
I had the same thing with some sort of gray ET. Just as I woke up, it was leaving my vision. It was not a dream, 100% sure. It was something real. And it was leaving my stuff, so it was in my fucking head.
Yeah, and the remote viewers, when they were drawing them, what he's describing, when they're really close up, you'll see their eyes, and they do look like a gray ET.
That was a very strange
one. But they have tentacles. It's weird.
They're like extra cheekbones, which is something I never see anybody describe. Not even remote viewers. But it was like really intense. I was like, holy moly, what? Wow.
And then when the remote viewers look to find out who these negative ones, who their boss is, they keep coming up with the same Alpha Draconian every time.
Fucking dinosaurs. Yeah, that's how they look anyway.
Well, there's good reptilian species too.
Yeah.
There's good ones and bad ones. But yeah, the same negative one that's puppeting the Pope is the same one in charge of these negative ones that are attached to the politicians and to people in general. And it's just the religions and even the New Age, supposed New Age community that's heavily infiltrated. Yeah, I should do a video specifically about that again because I need to rinse and repeat that one.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of new age stuff out there, and
it
they're
relates to us.
big channels, and they are nasty, nasty, nasty negative energy.
And it relates to us because the tarot community, I see it. I see it going on. There's like this. Yeah. We'll keep that for
For a different one.
a different video.
But you
I
got to
see
be
it.
very careful not to fall prey to the negative ones that have attachments that have infiltrated the spiritual communities and are heavily influencing what they're looking at. And so many people gullibly falling for the BS. Total BS. You talk about something that makes me angry or Gabriel angry is seeing you guys being BS'd to death. Literally.
I saw like 2 weeks ago, like breatharian community, and it was like in the 90s or something. This lady says like, yeah, this program, it only costs like a few $1,000. Here you go do this. No eating, no drinking. You don't need food or water. Well, people were dying out of that, doing that.
Yeah.
And then they later on, years later, they come out like, oh yeah, you just need a little bit of food and a little bit of water. You know? See what I'm saying? It's like following these gurus.
Like I said, have faith, but don't have blind faith, because that's why. This is how we got where we are today, is blind faith. And politicians, spiritual leaders, you name it, blind faith is very, very, that's why we're in the trouble we're in.
Yeah, and don't take our word for it, okay?
You should have faith.
Yeah, have faith,
and hope.
Do your own research on top of it.
But you use your God-given dominion and abilities to... and your abilities, trust me, they'll grow and get stronger as you remove those negative attachments and are aware of them. Yeah. It really does. It makes a huge difference.
Is already
and you'll win your battles. You'll win your battles. If you can overcome that battle, the rest of it is a piece of cake. Getting rid of those negative ones. And absolutely, it's imperative. It's the only way you will heal from addictions or health or mental stuff, is knowing that one key piece of information people don't tell you. You can buy all the freaking snake oil out on the internet. Oh, you will miraculously lose weight if you do this and all that kind of stuff. But that's not going to happen if you don't know that first step. So, and a lot of that stuff's placebo effect.
Yeah. Believing.
If you believe it's going to work, it'll work.
Yeah. It's like I told you, the biology of belief. You got these Christian people. Oh, I have faith in God and Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. And then they pray and pray and pray, and they get healed. Oh, I got healed by God. No. They healed themselves because they believe that they will heal.
Everybody has the ability to heal themselves.
That's what it is.
And that's something they're not aware of.
That belief, no matter where it comes from, that's what made it happen. Not God or Jesus or Muhammad or whatever. Yeah. You know? It's believing yourself. Yeah.
And the positive ones being around you can be very helpful and instrumental in recovery, of any kind of recovery. So anyway, we just wanted to reiterate what I've talked about over the years and put it out there for everybody as a reminder, because even we need those reminders, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, heads up, the negative ones, don't forget they're there. Don't forget about your bubbles. Don't forget about working with the positive ones, because they're there too. And they don't like the negative ones or being around them any more than you do. So they can be very instrumental in ridding you of them.
So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Interview with a goddess.
What does that make you?
I don't know. A god, I
That's
guess?
easily answered.
Well, if I'm a god, then everybody's a god.
Well,
Everybody.
that's basically what I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell them.
Yeah.
They're angels. They are angels. They got a piece of divinity. They are part of,
The whole
and and you're all connected to each other.
that's like the idea of hologram, right? The
Mhm.
universe being inside, like it's like a lower in frequency, but it's still an image of God, right?
Mhm.
Well, of the universe, I should say, of the creation.
Yeah.
It's inside of you. You're part of the universe. So, yeah. In a sense, we are all God.
Oh, and just one more thing, because the paranormal community is very has a lot to do with this. When people are getting EVPs,
Oh, yeah.
when they're getting EVPs,
Careful.
electronic voice phenomenon, you can get other types. You can get some that are out loud, because Gabriel has spoken to me out loud into my ear and not just in my head. When they're getting EVPs, those negative ones and those positive ones I'm telling you about, that's what they're hearing on those radios. That's what they're picking up on.
Yeah, what's the lady called again? She did like a bunch of research on it.
Yeah,
What
and she was picking up on the negative ones. That was Peggy King.
Peggy King.
Yeah, she was picking up on the negative ones and their plot and planning and how they're trying to hurt the humans because they don't like them.
And she found it out by reversing the EVPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was
I call this place hell, and I call this place an inversion. Yeah, the dimensional fall, so to speak, because of vibration. But yeah, and that's why these things have better access to everybody.
Yep.
The negative ones, it's because of a dimensional fall. They have more access to you. Mathematics, the quantum explains how all that works. And like I said, it's just they're right next to you all the time. It's just a matter, you don't see them because of frequency light. The human eye can only see, and the human ears can only hear certain frequencies. Some of us are gifted and have the ability to much wider frequencies, both auditory and visually, like myself. And that's how we can tell you guys about this without ever reading a book. I can tell you by experience. It just is what's there. It's there all the time. It's around you. You're swimming in a soup of it and don't even know it.
Yep.
So anyway, but that's good enough. Long-winded enough, don't you think?
Yeah.
We do hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. Remove them. You hold dominion.
All right.
And that's your battle. Fight them first, and you'll win the rest of your battle without a problem. So
I recognize those thoughts.
yeah, recognize it. Recognize, be aware of it. It's there.
If you pay close attention to your thoughts, you may find this out. Yeah, thoughts that are not yours, positive and negative.
Not just thoughts, but how you're feeling. Are you feeling particularly like you got up on the wrong side of the bed? Did you have a super bad dream? Things like that. That's a negative attachment influencing you. Absolutely.
Yep.
Anyway, take care. We love you guys. More to come. I'm working on some other projects because just an FYI, my purpose is for humanity as a whole. And I've actually been looking at different things I can do, not just warning you guys about what the future holds with the readings and stuff. And I take that seriously. My accuracy is super important to me, and that's why I've deleted videos, never uploaded them. I've got several I've never uploaded that actually were accurate. But if you guys have any ideas on ways to use our abilities for the better of humanity, not just, there's the heart-based science and things like that. Those are excellent. But I'm interested in actually putting together possibly a group of different various psychic ability people, which I have multiple abilities. Some people just have one, others have multiple. But somebody that knows about the center path, that isn't ego and service to self, and just wanting to make money off of it, and not self-sacrificing so much that to their detriment. Interested in teaming and collaborating. So if any of you have any ideas or thoughts, please leave them in the comments. And also, to help others, leave comments about your interactions with these beings, negative and positive ones. And yeah, because your stories help other people realize that this isn't just some woo-woo, hoobie-jew, whatever you want to call it.
Gobbledygook.
Yeah. That this is reality.
This is real.
Our 3D holodeck reality. Something that we do deal with, and something that is not taught in the churches.
No, in schools.
Or schools.
No.
Or from your parents because they weren't taught it either.
No.
Yeah. Anyway. Love you guys a bunch. Have a grand week. And more coming. More tarot readings and interesting things.
Yeah. Bye.
Later.